if you go and get the from USGS.gov and take the Earth's magnetic field map, and then lay it over a map of like a lot of these megalithic structures, all of a sudden you go, oh my God, they're all sitting on top of like high energy magnetic portals, basically. And what's interesting about that is how in the world did they figure this out? Like, what type of tool do you use to measure how much magnetism is whipping out of the Earth here from the core or 100 miles away? How do you distinguish which one is the one, the spot to put it in? They had to have had some level of advanced technology that had the capability. Now, we do it through satellite technology. So how in the world were they able to do it? We have a satellite that orbits the planet in a polar orbit. It orbits this way, not this way. And as the Earth spins on its axis, it's taking swaths of data. Magnetism, electric magnetic fields, it's taking topographical data and so forth and so on, minerals and so forth. We know everything that's on Earth from a polar orbiting satellite, which is why I believe that that's exactly what was used. Because if you look at the Great Pyramid at Giza, where is it located? Directly at the center of landmass on Earth, not the center of the Earth, the center of landmass. There's only one way to get that calculation. You have to have a satellite orbiting in a polar orbit, scanning the planet as it spins on its axis to pick up all the topographical data, to be able to calculate the landmass and to find the dead center of the mass of land. And not only that, of course, it has one of the biggest magnetic fields coming right out of that spot too. So boom, dead center, they drop it right there. And then also the Great Pyramid, the height of it matches the average height of all the peaks on Earth. Again, how can you do that? Polar orbiting satellite, as the Earth is spinning, it's calculating all the peaks.
The peak of the pyramid,
yes,
is the average of all the peaks
on Earth.
On Earth.
All the natural peaks on Earth is the average height of all the natural peaks on Earth.
I mean, there's so many things. There's so many things with the pyramids and these other structures that just,
it's mind-boggling.
I was taught that these 7-ton bricks were, they use sticks
and ropes and mud and elephants. The mud ramp theory had it took over for a little while, but then some real good physicists said, I don't know. They did some calculations. You would need more mass than the pyramid in mud to be able to create the mud ramps to put it didn't add up.
Yeah.
So the mud ramp, and then the lack of trees and lack of timber and so forth to roll in these, 15-ton stones in some cases on top of wooden. I mean, come on. It just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And when you go to the Serapeum at Saqqara, which is Enki's Halls of Amenti, it's these underground halls that are there that I take people to every year that has this incredible hallway carved out of solid stone underground, and these alcoves are in there, and inside of each alcove, perfectly fitted, tight and snug, are these 60 and 70-ton, what look like sarcophagus.
What's a sarcophagus?
What they claim they will put the dead body in,
Okay.
But they're not sarcophagus because there's no dead bodies in them. They're clean. They're actually, you can eat off the floor inside of those things. I've stood inside of them. They're higher than my head, and I'm 6'4". The lids weigh like 40 tons. But if you read the Emerald Tablets, you discover those were the halls of Amenti, where these beings claimed to have rejuvenation chambers. And they would put bodies in them, and they would literally had some type of technology that would transfer their consciousness into a new body when the other one wore out. And they would put the wore out body in these things and let them rejuvenate over time. Sounds crazy, but now modern science is doing the same exact thing. They literally are right now doing the same exact thing, learning how to transfer human consciousness from one body to another. They've even created mind links where they can transfer an active awake person's mind into a person that is already awake and conscious.
Wait a minute. Who's doing this?
Scientists in the Brain Institute and other laboratories all around the world. They have an experiment, and I'll get you the exact experiment that it was, where they have one gentleman in a room with a blindfold on and his hand on a remote control video game in front of him, but he can't see the video game. They have another gentleman in another room who's looking at the video game with no remote control. They create a mind link between the two and transfer this guy's mind into the other guy. He's now controlling the other guy's hands to play the video game.
No way.
Yes.
This is documented.
Documented. Real
Actual science.
Actual science. I'll send you. And listen, In Russia, the 2045 project, Ray Kurzweil, they've already took a monkey and transferred its consciousness into a computer. That was done in 2010. In 2000, I think 16 or 17, it was to transfer a human consciousness into a robot, which that's been done. In America, we have DARPA. They have the Avatar project. Look that up, the Avatar project. I wrote about it in my book, where they transfer a soldier's consciousness into a field robot. And then the only thing that gets damaged if the robot blows up, the symbiotic link is disconnected through consciousness, but the soldier's obviously not going to die.